Everyone in our world is bad. They're a criminal. They have their own code, their own sense of honor, their own repulsion to authority.
And they want to kill John.
I do hope that Mr. Wick finds his way to safety. Do you expect him to make it out?
$14 million bounty on his head. Every interested party in the city wants a piece of it. I'd say the odds are about even.
We always talk about the curse of the sequel. You try to do something very original, that's why people like you. It's original, it's different. By the very nature of doing a sequel, it can't be as original as the original. So you have a couple choices. You can try to blow more shit up and have bigger spaceships and bigger monsters, or you expand. That's what we try to do with John Wick, just get more in depth to who he is, what his world entails, and how we show that through his own personal journey.
One of the things that we wanted to do in Parabellum was let the audience into a little more of the backstory and open up the world.
Everything about this movie is more, bigger, juicier.
We weren't going about it on the first movie to create this incredibly different, cool, provocative kind of alternate reality. I mean, it was always a part of it, but it was not something we spent that much time on. That just kind of came alive during the making of the movie and when ultimately you watched the movie. And as we've learned, audiences want to know more about that world.
That's something that's really interesting about the movies. Like, not only are you doing these incredibly well-executed, incredibly beautifully shot movies with fantastic performances, you're also participating in pretty unique world building on a level that a lot of movies don't even attempt.
How can we expand the universe, the assassins, the high table, the backstory of John Wick?
Where is he from? What does he do? Where is he trained? Where's the tattoo from? Where did they get the skills he does? Is it this? Is he Russian? Is he a Marine? Is he hired assassin? Is he special forces?
But you must never know too much, otherwise you give too much away.
I like staying a little obtuse. I think that's the fun part about some of these movies is it's up to your imagination. So we thought we'd go a little deeper into that, where we believe he comes from, and that's what we call his vague return to his origin.
We meet Angelica Houston, who's playing the director of this place that we learn John Wick is from.
Danny, why have you come home?
She's actually a theatrical director based on this very special kind of theater for a very special kind of performer, or in this case, children.
It's basically a school for young assassins. I probably, in my own time, worked my way up, and now I pretty much run this place.
I think both intellectually and physically, she gives guidance to those under her care, and they go out into specifically trained to either be artists, but artists with a special skill set that go out into our John Wick universe. One of the most important things with mythology is a talisman, a special charm, a special prop that's used to either gain access, either internally or externally, a key to enter somewhere, or a clue to follow. Whether it's gold coins, or in number 2 we had markers, and this one we call them tickets. When you graduate from a certain position in life, you're giving a special kind of token that acts as a ticket, and it's good for a one-way trip access. And when you're in your most need, you can come back and turn in your ticket, which gives you a get-out-of-jail-free card just one time. But the penalty is that you can never go back to your origin again.
So he comes to me for an escape. He needs a way out.
Your ticket is torn.
Welcome to the Continental. How may I help you?
Each of the major cities around the world has a Continental Hotel, which is basically a safe zone for all criminals where they come to meet, have a drink, and link into a service of environment. We can buy guns and bulletproof suits and hook up with different messages and information and intelligence.
The world and the underground assassin lair was something I had never seen before.
One thing we talked about was to really show the Continental on a bigger scale. Apart from the front doors that we see in the exterior, what happens behind the doors. So it's just like whatever idea we could come up with, let's just see if it works in the script.
Walking into the world of John Wick, I really got just totally enveloped by it, and it makes it so much easier to just be fully absorbed into the world of John Wick and say, I'm really here. Everything is in the world. Every prop, every piece of art, everything has been thought out.
We had always thought that the world of the hotels was really rich and we could mine it, so it's been really fun to develop the television show, especially because it takes place in an LA Continental. So it is a completely different vibe and mood from the movies.
Continental Hotel can be much bigger than your imagination.
Winston is evolving and developing. He lets us know the consequences and the rules and what rules need to be obeyed, and also kind of talks about the consequences of breaking the rules. And in Parabellum, the lens is turning on him about these rules in the world of the Continental and what he did and didn't do and the consequences of that.
Sir, there is an adjudicator here to see.
We wanted to show how does the high table hit the ground? Where do they move? How do they flex their power? And this idea of a character called the adjudicator came up. Because we were dealing with rules and fealty, we thought fealty could be connected to the high table. And Continental has the rules, and that the high table could have rules, but then fealty. And the adjudicator was a character that could address breaking the rules. And then we had this idea that we know John Wick has broken the rules, but then didn't Winston break some rules? Did the Bowery King break some rules? They were doing things that weren't in the interests of the high table.
They are intimidating, they are not easily thrown by other people, and they know the power that they carry. They know how to carry it into a room.
They're powerful as my character, or as powerful as John Wick's character in their own way, and expresses the wishes of the high table.
Part of the reason the adjudicator is so fun is that you see these characters like Winston, like John Wick, even Sharon, who you think, oh, nobody could mess with them. And then here comes this character, and they're all a little bit like, whoa, I don't know how to deal with this.
Someone is judge, jury, and executioner. And they're not a killer, but it's very matter of fact.
I think we like addressing both our subtleties and our flaws all out in public, I guess, when John Wick goes. Obviously, it's wacky. He kills hundreds of people over a puppy. We like to address that. We thought, wouldn't it be fun if we had actually a character that called out all our bullshit? Judge how wacky our world is. We're like, it's pretty genius. Let's keep with that.
Mr. Wick broke the rules. I trust you understand the repercussions if he survives.
We had the opportunity to tell chapter 3, and we were going to go into the world of the high table, and John is on the run. And the question was, well, how can he survive? And then we were thinking about the high table. We came up with this idea of the elder, someone who sits above the high table, and that John has to find the elder, that is the person that could give John absolution. So John goes to the ends of the earth to find this mythical character.
We thought it would be great if our world had not only the financial, economical, kill or be killed side, but also the spiritual and the ethical side that guides the rules and keeps the order between the two worlds. In order to do that, we had a bit of the ethereal guide.
He's gonna allow him to be John Wick again. It's because of my understanding of his soul, my understanding of his pain, demons, who makes me give him another chance. I can give you one last chance to earn a life. However, it might not be the life that you wish.
In our world, there's a big portion of the population that are hired assassins.
And I think that was kind of like the point of this movie, was this world of assassins are everywhere, and John Wick has really nowhere to hide.
So they're after him for the money. There's also the law enforcement of our criminal world. They're after him for committing the crimes he did. There's also some freelance individuals that are outside of both that would also like to take revenge on John for his past deeds.
You find this man who's grieving the loss of his wife. She, through her wisdom, passes along this gift of a dog, Daisy, a kind of connection to kind of communicate and transmit her love, her thoughtfulness for him, and in a way, knowing what he needs to be in the world. Once that's taken away, we're introduced to this character, John Wick, this legend who had retired for 5 years, who's now back. And so this demarcation of John and his retired life and his life with his wife and the love, and then this assassin, this person who is a killer in this world, is unleashed. And so I think through the stories, we're seeing this battle between John and John Wick.
John is the person he wants to be. John Wick is the person he naturally is. John's concerned with that. The contract, people trying to kill him, that's not his primary concern, I don't think. I think it's looking for a type of absolution that allows him to become the person he wants to be in order to remember his wife, and if he's going to die, he'd rather die as the nice guy that his wife would want him to be. And that's his main journey. And somewhere along all that, he decides which is more important to him.
Who do you wish to die as? The Baba Yaga, or as a man who loved and was loved by his wife? Who do you wish to die as, Jonathan?
It's about John's journey and quest to live, to remember his wife, Helen.